I think we're live. Okay, we're live.
All
Looks like
right.
we are. We are live. We are live. We are live. Let me go on my page just to double check. Yep, we are definitely live. So let me start sharing with my groups. All right. Start sharing with my groups. Okay. And let me yeah, so we're live. So you should see it coming up on your page like any moment now if you haven't already.
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, it should be on there
It
because you are
it, it
certainly tagged. I see that you're tagged.
yeah, but it says this content isn't available right now. When this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it to a small group of people. Uh, Change who can see it.
Oh, wait a minute. I just did it. Hold on. Okay. Let's try that now.
All right.
Should be you see it?
No, but I'm gonna go to your page. Okay.
Yeah, go to my yeah,
I
you should
got
see it. You see it? It's public now.
All right.
All righty. All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, you know what? We don't wait because I know a lot's going on right now on social media, but we keep the show rolling.
Right.
Oh, you got to turn you heard me? Okay. You just got to turn me down or turn your phone down because we're going to hit echoing.
Okay.
You got it?
I'm off.
Okay, great. All right. So for people who don't know me, let me do a brief introduction. I'm sorry we are fashionably late, but you know what? We have to, when we're having a national recording artist, we have to make sure that all his stuff is ready. This is Kitty London, host and creator of the People of Power Show. And every week I sit down with movers and shakers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, some celebrities, but basically people who are doing amazing things. And, you know, for people who follow me know that I wear many, many, many hats. So when I sit with someone who wears just as many as me, or probably even more, I am fascinated because I tell it's just like the M&Ms, we do exist. We are one. And if they say, how do you do it? You know, I hate to sound cliche, but it's the God in me, right? He's extraordinary. But I will call you Pastor Gonder, musical artist Gonder. You got so many names, right? So you got to give me a just make sure I stay on track. Tell me what I can call you for this evening, because again, you hold many hats, sir.
You know what? Just Ernest.
Okay, Ernest. Okay,
Ernest.
make my job easy tonight, Ernest. But
Yeah.
you know, you're humble, but let me just let the people know who don't know you. Of course, you see this big sign in the back that says National Recording Artist, but he's also a father. He's also a husband. He's also a law enforcement. He also is a pastor, and he's just a great person. So he is like, and I think I missed something there because you got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I miss anything else? I know National Recording Artist. What
Just
else?
a little bit.
What else? Just throw it out there. Hey,
Real.
you're huh?
I'm a realtor.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is correct. You're a realtor. Now, that's what, 7 sources? Is that 7 sources of
So,
income? Something like
well,
that.
I'm also a landlord
Oh,
of some
geez.
properties, so that
Keep stacking. But you know what? And some people don't like to tell everything they do. Sometimes I think people think it comes across being, braggadocious or whatever. But I feel like this. I think it's so important that we know that we all are given the same 24 hours in a day. And I
right.
think what happens is people sometimes look at their situation and they say, oh my God, it's so much. I can't do this. I can't live out my dreams. I can't, get out the 9 to 5. And it's like, when you look at people like you, you're like, wait a minute, you're given 24 hours. I'm giving 24 hours. But obviously you're doing a lot with your 24 hours if you can do all that and juggle all that. So I just want to say kudos to you. And we're going to add the COVID survivor. I have to let people know that as well. We're going to get into that story. But because we are in this pandemic now, I have to let people know that there are survivors. We hear so many times where people have felt ill and haven't gotten back up. But look at you. You don't even look like, what you've been through.
I look like what I've been through.
Right? God is amazing. And if you have any questions or you just want to give a shout out to Ernest, because I know he needs to focus on his interview, please, I will definitely be the pilot and, for this interview. So first, I want to just say that you have a couple of people that admire your voice. Well, quite a few. I'm bringing that number down. Lots of people who admire your voice. But there are two women in particular that admire your voice, and they're in the age where I would call them the young ladies who are born in November. We have Miss Whitaker, who is the young age of 91. And we also have my mom, who is the youthful age of 76. And when they heard the song that you're going to kind of open us up with, you know, it kind of brings us to their past, what they've been through, especially being African Americans, the things that we had to endure and overcome.
Right.
And now we fast forward to 2020, which it looks like we've been set back a little bit. It feels like we were in the 50s again when it came to certain things that we've had to overcome in America in 2020, right?
Right.
Like I'm like, are we back in the 60s? What's going on here? But you know, needless to say, music is timeless. Your voice is timeless. And I want you to just, you know, take a deep breath. And then we're going to get into your story, but I know you wanted to open up, and we're going to close out with your new single. Your new video is going to be amazing. I saw the clips of it, but I'm so happy for you, Ernest.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I love watching your show. I mean, you're always so amazing, so energetic. You are just, let's talk about you for a minute. You
okay.
are greater than what you know. I mean, you are just amazing. You are such a blessing to so many countless numbers of people. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, you know what? When I have great guests, I think I get the energy from them. It's almost like, you know how when you're at work and you're tired, and then all of a sudden you get off and you just have this burst of energy. Yeah. I get that with my guests. Yeah. I feed off of the guests and I feed off of the energy. And I feel like this, I have to bring my A game, because I want to get an interview back when, you know, when you're getting your Stellar Awards and your Grammys. I don't want you to forget about little old me. So I want to get another interview. So I got to make sure that I'm on point.
Yeah.
I'm on point. So let me know when you're ready. And then we're going to get into your wonderful story, because I know as a pastor, I love talking to pastors, because somewhere in this conversation, I think God is going to move. You know, he's going to have his way in this conversation. And I don't know what is going to happen, but I have a feeling. So I want to allow you to, you know, get this out the way so we can get into your wonderful story.
All right. Well, I'm ready. Let's go to the musical track. And this song, Sam Cooke, it says, "A change is going to come." 91 years old. Isn't God amazing?
And you know what? I was going to say a biblical moment here, because my mom's 76 now. I don't want to mess the verse up, but you know it. How long did God promise? Or was it, what did it say, 7 scores or
three scores and 10, which is 7.
See, you know I'm messing up. See, I said 7 scores. Lord, I don't know how old that is. That's probably 200, but yeah. 3 scores. Yeah. You said 3. Okay.
Yes, and 10.
So anything past 70 is pretty much just blessing and favor and mercy and okay.
So right. I want to give that shout out to Mom as well. You know, Mom as well. God bless you, and you know, just continue to keep holding on, keep holding God's unchanging hand. But this song is dedicated to them, and it says, "A change is gonna come." I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like a river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes, it will. Then I go to the movies and I go downtown, but everybody keeps telling me, Ernest, don't hang around. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please, help me please. But he winds up knocking me down, back down, back down to my knees. Oh, there's been times that I thought, oh, I couldn't last too long, but now I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, 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 long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes, it will. Yeah, 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 yes, it will.
Wow. Woo! Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I want to make sure, did you share this to your music page too? Because I know I want to make sure that it's on there as well. So
Yes, I did. I shared it.
okay, you did it. Okay, just making sure. Okay, so now, now you get to rest. This is the easy part. You get to reflect a little bit on your life. And I know as a singer, I talk to a lot of singers, and I always want to know, when did you know you could do that? What age?
You know what? Kitty, there's three things that I never wanted to do. Once you know how you're a kid and you say, when I grow up, and one of them was sing, because when we was in church, we was in church 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. And, being a pastor's kid, we had to say, I was the choir director, the deacon, the usher, you do everything, and I said, I don't want to be a singer. Okay, because when I grew up, I ain't even going to church no more, because I've done enough church as a kid. So I'm not going to sing when I grow up. I'm not going to do anything with law enforcement, because after going through what I went through in my childhood, with law enforcement, being arrested, I didn't want anything to do with law enforcement. Because I saw how bad people did my dad as a pastor, I said I would never be a pastor. So those were the three things that I said I would never do. But God have a sense of humor, because the three things that I devised and I said I will never do when I grew up were part of my purpose, and God allowed me to run from and run right into what He had for me, which was coupled in those three. So, to be honest with you, I always knew that, I had a voice to sing, but it wasn't until about the age of 26, 27 that I realized that I was anointed to sing, because there is a difference in having the gift and just being able to sing, and having the anointing to sing, because when you're anointed to sing, when you open up your mouth, things begin to shift in the atmosphere and change. So I began to know that I was anointed to sing around the age of 26, 27.
Wow. And I'm sure people probably told you at the age of 12, boy, you need to make an album at the age of 12, huh? Because you had it. So do you think and this is kind of like, I guess, an inspirational point for the people who are listening now, and they have, young kids who they feel that they have something in them. Do you think that church is one of the best ways to kind of get those vocal cords? Because back in the day, you remember we had voice teachers and voice. I don't know too many people that teach voice anymore. So would you say, put them in a choir, let them start?
Put them in the choir. You listen, so many R&B singers, so many rock singers, listen, it all originated from gospel music. A lot of it, and not only in church. Let them get a YouTube channel. Let them. The more they sing, the better they're going to get at it. If they write poems, the more poems they write, the better they're going to get at it. So I would say, if your children do have a gift to do anything, just push them, and support them in that, and sit down. There were days that mom sat down, and as a punishment, we had to sing. So I do the same thing with my kids. When they're acting up and I punish them, I line them up and we have battle of the praises and they all sing. And because I've been doing that since they were kids, they all can sing very well now.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned that, because you talked about the R&B and also gospel. I find it a lot of times when people who are brought up in the church, they love other music, right? And they kind of get caught up into, I want to sing, but I don't want to be a gospel singer. I want to be, an R&B singer, or I want to do this. I think you can do it all. And I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you should ever limit yourself as an artist. I mean, music is music, right?
You should never limit yourself. I truly believe, and I do, and trust me, I've been sent to hell 100 times by other pastors and different, because I changed
Not to hell.
gospel song, because I sing songs, because I sing at a lot of weddings, I sing at different events, and the Bible tells you become all things to all men. So I look at music as it has a message. There is a message in the music, and as long as the message is positive and inspirational and what sets the mood for the moment, so be it. I mean, trust me, when me and my wife, I'm married, and me and my wife, in our bedroom, we don't listen to melodies from heaven. We don't listen to Amazing Grace. So I don't believe that I'm any less saved, just because I listen to other music outside of gospel music.
It's so funny because everything that you've said that you are is a calling. If you understand, I don't, because everyone can't be a person in law enforcement. That's a calling. You got to have some type of criterias and some things about you, or you should have some type of morals when you are being a law enforcement. So I just want to know, because I know I would tell anybody that I'm like, do not be, no, we don't want you out there. Don't go to the army. Don't become a cop. I think that's an internal thing that you have to say, you know what, I'm willing and risking my life every day to keep people safe. Right. That is protecting and serving at its finest.
And you know what, kid, I was able to get into it, and it didn't bother me. I've been promoted several times. I'm a lieutenant now. It's because it's all serving. Whether I'm in church, whether I'm at work, I mean, I'm just a servant. Anyone will tell you, I'll pick up a broom in a minute. I'll go get you a cup of water in a minute. I don't care if I have 100 titles or more degrees than honor. God always keeps me in a position where I'm a servant, and I just love serving people.
Well, I want to say thank you for that. I don't know how many times people tell you, but I want to thank you for putting your life on the line every time you put that suit on and you go out there, because that's what you're basically doing. So I want to say thank you for that. So I want to know too, when did you become a man of God? Was that something that, I know you said you ran from it, but you do it well. I heard you preach. You have a gift, and you have a gift of song. So I always like to know the epiphanies, because again, that's a calling, I think, that's greater than any calling. Besides being a father, besides being a husband, being a man of God, to help people get saved. When did you say, you know what, I'm going to actually do this? And was it something that you did before you became married, or was something that you did after you became married?
No, it wasn't before. It was after I was married.
Okay.
I was married. I didn't want to do it before I was married. I would have been too scared. I probably would have went straight to hell. I just wasn't right. but however, I became a pastor. I was a preacher. I became a minister. My dad ordained me as a minister at the age of 17. I started preaching at 17, singing and directing the choir at 12 and 13, and preaching at 17. He ordained me to preach. I didn't get ordained to be a pastor until the age of 27, when I felt the call of God to pastor. I did not want to do it at all.
That was around the time you started singing, 26,
Yeah,
27.
yes.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel called, but it was prophesied to me several times. I felt the tug and pull. And a lot of time people, just because something is prophesied to them don't mean it's your time. But it was prophesied, but I also felt the pull. I felt the tug, and I knew that that's what God was calling for at that season in my life. And so I obeyed. I said, okay, well, God, listen, we're going to open the doors. I'm going to get this little place over here. And first Sunday, if don't holler nobody come, I'm not doing it. That Sunday, about 30 people showed up. And 30 people showed up. 15 of them were saved, and 25 of them joined the church that day. And so I couldn't back out. From there, I mean, God just blessed us. We purchased the building. God just really, really, really expanded us. And I did that for 10 and a half years. 10 and a half years, I was senior pastor of the Impact Center. We moved from Pompano to Deerfield, and I was a senior pastor until in 2019. I strongly felt the call of God to step down from being a senior pastor, in which I had to explain to so many people and other pastors, listen, I'm not leaving God. I'm not walking away from God. God is shifting me. And sometimes people have to understand you have to flow with the shift of what God is doing. And so I shifted with what God is doing. And now, instead of God using me to pastor and to minister and to lead, 100, 150 people in one building, he's using me to lead and help thousands upon thousands of people all over the world.
And you do ministry through your music as well.
You actually went out, Kitty. I'm sorry.
No, saying you do ministry through your music.
Oh, yes.
As well. That's a ministry in itself. Now, the reason why I ask these questions is because, everything that you're doing takes 100%. When you're an officer, it's 100%, right? When you're a pastor, it's probably 150%, because you got to give it more than your all, even when you're not doing well.
Oh, yeah.
Then you are a father, which another 175%, and husband, 200.
Father of 6.
Okay. Well, that's 300%. And then a husband. And then I know we didn't talk about the real estate, how that came in. But do you think, and we're not talking about music yet, the talent, I'm a music person as well. We find it sometimes when we put our talents and our loves and our passion on the back burner, because we're giving so many other things the attention. So when did you resurface back? Because I know, people who don't know you, they might not know that, like you said, you did weddings and you do funerals very well. Like Ernest will make you save at a funeral, honey. You'll be like going to a funeral and you'll get saved before the end of the funeral. If you're not saved already, you'll go to the altar at the funeral with him singing. But I say this to say that when you came up with this, say, I'm gonna put some of this effort into my music. I wanna get out in front now. I think it's time. I think it's ready. When did you make that ultimate decision? Because right now I'm seeing the back of you now, the national recording artist. When did you say, I'm putting all this up and I got to do this now?
In 2019.
Wow. So that was just last year. Okay.
Yes, just last year. And people were telling me for years, hey, you need to do it. You need to do a CD. You need to do it. But
I was one of them.
Yeah, you're right. And I thank you for the motivation. But it's like, what would they say? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so long people see the greatness in you, and they see sometimes what you don't see. And it's just a matter of knowing that it's that time and it's that season to press forward and do it. Because, you know, if you're not going to give it your all and you're going to half step with it, then it's almost like don't even bother doing it because you're not going to give it all of you.
And I was going to ask you to explain that mindset, because I think a lot of times we do that. It's like, again, how people said things about you, like, oh, you're going to do this. And you're like, oh, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do that. Sometimes we run into so many talented people and it's like, oh my God, you're like, you listen to them sing or dance or whatever their talent is at the time. You're like, this person should have gotten 4 Grammys. They should be selling out arenas. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm just, so basically you have to be ready. You, that person, has to be ready and has to want it.
Yes. You have to be ready. You have to want it. And it has to be in your mind, you know, and you have to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to give it my all. And I know it seems crazy because, you know, how could I give BSO my all? How could I give family my all? How could I give, you know, being a pastor and evangelist my all? How can I give being a real estate agent my all? Listen, like you said, you have 24 hours in a day. Although that's a little bit of time, it's still yet a lot of time. It's just learning how to, and you can never master it. It's just learning how to balance. And there is no perfect balance, but you can learn how to balance the things that you are passionate about and the things that you're called to, because there's some things you're called to and there's some things that you're just passionate and you're gifted to do. And one of the things that I'm just very passionate about is real estate. Just because, you know, me, you know, just I've always, since a kid, I've always loved real estate, and hearing how, you know, grandma would tell me, you know, they don't want us to have land and they don't want us to have property and da 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 da, you know, and just knowing the history, some of the history behind the difficulty of lands that were taken from us, going way back to our ancestors and forefathers. I truly feel like everyone should own not a property, but several properties. You know, so just with that feeling, I would begin to see the disservice that was, you know, done to so many of us, you know, not being able to buy, not being in a position to buy, and, you know, people telling us no. So, you know, I was so passionate to see people start buying houses that for years I was helping people, you know, with the process and helping people with credit and helping people, hey, this is what you need to do. I know exactly what the bank wants. And I have to be honest, 50, 60, 70, 80 people I was helping, and I wasn't a realtor. So the benefit that I was receiving from it was just, thank you, God bless you. And it was okay just seeing these people being able to close on their home. But one day my wife said, well, babe, why don't you just go, you do good at tests, just go become a realtor. I was like, nah. She said, listen, you're doing it anyways, get paid for it. I said, okay, that's another stream of income.
One time for wifey.
I've been a realtor for 2 years, and usually within the first year, and any realtor will tell you, within the first year, the average realtor closes 0 to 1 deals in the first year. Real estate is not easy. It looks like it, but it's not. But in my first year, I think I closed maybe about 30, I think 32 the first year. My second year, I'm in my second year, I think I've done about 31 so far. And, you know, it's very rewarding. And it's because I'm just passionate about it. I love taking people from step one, from the beginning of a 500 credit score, all the way to them being able to close. I'm passionate about it. And it's what I love outside of singing. That's what I love to do. So that's, you know, God is blessing me doing it.
Well, listen, anybody who's listening, right, who's looking to purchase a home, this is your guy. Right. So I love, like you said, the journey, because let's be realistic. Most of us don't start off, you know, with bad credit, but life happens and things happen. And especially now this year, a lot of people who probably never thought that they would be looking for food are in food lines right now.
Right.
So can you imagine what their scores are? And, you know, we have to bounce back. We will bounce back. But I love it how you said it, where you know how to do it. You know what the bank is looking for. And I believe it's just about education. And I think a lot of times we just don't want to take the time to educate ourselves. So people like you, we love you because you go and you get the skills. Of course, you charge us, but at least we know that, hey, you know what you're talking about. So credit is a big issue. I think that's been the trending topic especially in the African-American community, for the past, 2-3 years. It's been like everybody and mama doing credit, right? I don't know if you noticed that on the timeline. Like everybody's doing credit. You want to So we need to know how to get in these houses. We need to know how to sit at these tables. We need to know. So I'm glad that you took the effort to go and get those skills. So you, in 2021, I see that you're probably going to do about 45 to 60 homes. Amen. Because I think that the economy is definitely going to bounce back, but I think now we're smarter. So you would say definitely own something, not shading the renters, because, a lot of times they get a little offended when you talk about renting. But, the numbers are there. If you're going to be, spend how much a month on a mortgage versus you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 for rent, right, you could own it. Is you're that right?
And, I tell people, listen, it's okay to be a renter. Just decide in your mind that, hey, this is my last year renting. Yes, I've been renting, and yes, I am renting, but guess what? This is my last year. And it starts now. And, and like I tell people, when it comes time, people get discouraged, Kitty, when it comes time to, when they want to buy a house because they want to buy, and then they apply somewhere and they get told no. Because buying a home is a journey, and it must start in your mind first. You have to get some things together. You can't just up and go do it and have the house tomorrow. It's a journey. Credit, income, debt ratio, your taxes. I mean, it's so many things and so many steps to walk through, but you can do it and you can accomplish it. I've done it 6 times, Kitty, because it's really a formula. And once you figure out the formula of how to pay your houses off, formula of how to obtain properties, once you figure that formula out, or you connect with someone that knows that formula, then it really becomes much easier than what people say it is.
I got a feeling you're going to be getting some calls soon.
That'd be awesome. I love helping.
After this.
I do. I really do love helping people.
So when you, I just, you're like this one man band here with all this stuff going on. So when you said 2019, and again, with 6 kids and a wife, it's definitely a family discussion, right? Because, when you're becoming an artist, sometimes daddy might not be home. You think about the road trips and the tours and all this. So how was that conversation when you were like, listen, I want to do this music thing. This is real to me now.
You know what? They've seen it over the past 11 years because, and here's the thing. Pastoring, if you're a real pastor, and some of my members, are probably on here, when you're a pastor for real, people want to pastor at the baby shower, especially in the African-American church. Want to pastor at the baby shower. We got to be at the funeral. We got to be there when the baby died, when the baby born, when a person died. We got to be at the wedding. We got to, we have to be with you when you cry. We got to be with you when you're happy. We got to, be in this state. We got to be in that state. We got to go out of town to the graduation. And you're pulled in so many different ways. So as a matter of fact, they're already used to it. They're already used to me having to, try to balance and schedule myself to be in 4 places at one time. So I think they've just gotten accustomed to the lifestyle. But there comes a time, Kitty, where I have to say, oh, I'm shutting down, because it's all about family. Family trips, family outings, Thursday nights being family nights. So there's certain things that you have to do. My phone rang off the hook all the time, but I have a certain time that I have to cut it on silent, because I'm spending time with the family. So
I like that you said that, because I know sometimes I thought it sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. And I've seen people on Facebook that say it, especially when you go through, let's say pandemics or natural disasters and things happen. And the first thing people talk about is the church, right? It's like, well, the church is quiet, right? The pastor, the church is, it's like, but when you think about it, you're like, it's only one of them, and it's like thousands of everybody else. And everybody wants your undivided attention. Everybody wants you to pick up the phone and find out how they're doing. And I think sometimes, it's a catch-22. Some might just be absent pastors. Let's just say they might be a small percentage, but for the most part, you got to deal with your own stuff. Like sometimes you are going through things yourself, And how do you give when you don't have anything to give? And it happens even with pastors. But I think we think that you all are superheroes, that
Right.
you don't go through anything. You're the healers. How
And
dare you go through?
look up, if people should look up the suicide rate amongst pastors. I mean, just
Really?
nationwide, the suicide rate is crazy. It is ridiculous. The suicide rate, the divorce rate, the depression rate, alcoholism rate, drug rate, it is through the roof, simply because we spend so much time worrying about everybody else's issues, so we never take time, most of the time, to really worry about our own issues.
Now, I would have never put those two together. Like, and I know that at the end of the day, you're a man. You're human. You're flesh and blood.
Right.
But I would never put together suicide and pastor. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I mean, that's alarming to hear that, because you teach the word, right? Not to ever do that. And if you do that, then wow. You know, I hear about the nurses, I hear about law enforcement committee, but wow, pastors.
It's high among pastors, and Google actually gives the statistic, but it's very high. I mean, if you just put it in, I mean, Google it. You'll just about 3 weeks ago, you had a pastor in Orlando commit suicide. You know, just blow his brains out. You know, because I mean, you have to think about the psychological depression. I mean, just think about it. You have your own issues. You may have your own marital issues. You may have, you know, your own issues with your children, your own issues in your finances. But understand, you're pulled into everybody else's issues. So while you're at home in the middle of your argument, you getting a call from Sister Sue and Brother Momo saying, hey, we finna get a divorce. You know, now you got to go counsel them in the middle of the night. You know, you got to go, you know, you go tomorrow to marry this couple, but the next day you got this couple having a divorce. And, you know, after this couple have a divorce, this couple has a baby, but then this person lost their mother. So now you got to go bury this person. And you got this one is happy. So you happy with them. Now you sad with this one. And then all trying to hold your marriage together and satisfy your kids, and, you know, still respond, you know, to the job. And, you know, you have so many different.
You wore me out just giving me an example.
Right. And guess what? And then on Sunday morning, everybody wants you to perform. If everybody on Sunday morning, they need you to be at your best when you just been pulled in 100 different ways by 100 different people.
I'm glad you're being transparent. I think more people need to talk about it, because I think sometimes we just don't know. We're used to we need, but we're not saying, well, what can we do for you? Are you okay?
Right.
You know, and you know, speaking of that, great segue to go into your next chapter in your life that you didn't expect. And you know, I saw you and I followed you when you were going through it, but you are a COVID-19 survivor.
Yes.
And for someone who stays prayed up, and I'm sure especially by being law enforcement, you know, you all were getting tactics on how to stay COVID, you know, free and safe. I know there were unfortunately a couple of officers that lost their lives and when, you know, national attention. But and I think you knew one of them too, in Broward, one of the sheriffs, I think, that lost their lives to COVID.
Actually, one of my high school friends, great friend of mine. He actually used to be a member of my church, Shannon Bennett. I'm best friends with his brother Darren Bennett from Calvary Chapel, and we all grew up together. So he was my best friend, and he lost his life. He was the
that
first.
That was before you got COVID, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes it even more scary, because now you have people, real life people that you know, who didn't make it.
Right.
So go through that, like that, because I mean, the diagnosis had to blow your mind. Obviously, were you feeling a little sick, and how did that happen?
The way it happened was, I mean, I had being in law enforcement. Trust me when I tell you, we were taking every precaution. My wife is a germaphobe, so you know, she was almost bleaching me down at the door when I would come home. I mean, every precaution, hand sanitizer, everything. And it was July the 5th. I came home, I got dressed, I was feeling fine. And I left to go meet someone to show them a property up here in Port St. Lucie. And while I was on my way, I started feeling cold. I was cold. I'm like, man, it should be cold. I have the window down. Then I got hot. And I'm hot. I turned the air on, you know, getting cold, getting hot. Then I looked in my rearview mirror and I was sweating profusely. I was like, oh, I don't feel right. I turned around. I went back home, canceled the appointment. My wife took my temperature. My temperature was 101 at that moment. She was like, oh my God, babe, you may have COVID. I said, no, I don't got COVID. I don't got COVID. I don't get sick. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. So I called the job. The job sent me the next day on the 6th to get tested. I got tested and I was positive for COVID. And from that point, it just seemed like every day got worse. Headaches, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, body aches. I mean, I felt like, I promise you, I felt like my body was being stretched in 4 different ways. I mean, like the pain and the agony that I went through with COVID, and it lasted for about 16, 17 days. And it was just horrible. And while I was sick with COVID, I lost about a total of 5 family members while I was sick, just in that 2.5 week span, 5 people, and, you know, which was just freaking me out. And yes, I'm a man of faith. I'm a, you know, man, I know the Bible and this and that. But what I did know in the midst of having faith and knowing the Bible, my body was hurting. I couldn't see my children. I couldn't see my family. I was shut away in a room. My wife was in and out helping me now. And I got to the point, Kitty, and this was a turning point for me. I got to a point, and I put this video on Facebook. I was in the bathroom and I began to feel weak, and I began to fall, and I began to feel faint. My body began to, I was drenched. My wife ran in. She heard me hit the ground. She ran in. She took my temperature. My temperature was 104. And at that point, I was gasping for air. She said, "Oh, are you all right?" I couldn't speak because I couldn't breathe. So it was at that point she said, "I'm calling 911. We're getting you to the hospital." And I'm shaking my head because, you know, everybody was saying, "Don't go to the hospital. Don't go to the hospital." But she got me to the hospital because I simply could not breathe. My oxygen when I got to the hospital was a 30. And it should have been anywhere from 97 to 99. And it was a 30.
Almost out of here.
My lungs, I had pneumonia in both lungs. And they, you know, I was dehydrated. You know, I was at the hospital for hours, and they were in the middle of admitting me. They took x-rays of my lungs, chest x-rays, and all different type of things. And the doctor came back. He said, "You have pneumonia in both lungs, you know, and it don't look good." You know, I'm like, okay. The nurse had asked me, Kitty, she said, "Sir, what do you do?" I said, "I'm a law enforcement officer, and I'm also a gospel singer." And she said, "Okay, all right." So later I heard her and the doctor talking, and the nurse said, "Do you know he's a gospel singer?" And the doctor said, "Well, with the damage that's been done to his lungs, don't look like he'll be singing anymore." When he said that, my baby leaped. Something inside of me leaped, and I got like this charge out of nowhere, because I know that I'm a man of purpose, and I know that God created me was by design, and it wasn't by mistake. So at that point, I said, "Oh no, I'm not leaving here, because my work on this earth is not done." And now let me pause right there, Kitty, and take you back to 2019. 2019, I traveled to Atlanta to record For His Glory. I spent June, July, August, September, and October going back and forth to Atlanta working on this song. Was supposed to be out January 1 of 2020. It would not take off. It would not, I mean, it just would not take off. The music was horrible. The production was horrible. The studio, I mean, it was just a flop, a waste of money. So me and my producer said, "You know what, forget it. We're not going to even worry about it." So I had given up. After this COVID experience, something that I took for granted, I took breathing, just being able to breathe. We take that for granted. every single day of our life most of the times. And when I couldn't breathe on that bathroom floor, I didn't want fame, I didn't want fortune, I didn't want money, I didn't want another friend, I didn't want another house, a car. All I wanted was simply to be able to breathe. Now, going back to 2019, I wanted the world to know, Kitty, who Ernest Gonder was. I wanted people to know that I could take the stage with any artist that is out there, and that was my focus. Hey, listen, I want the world to know that I can sing, not in a cocky way, but hey, I want everybody to know, because for 37 years of my life, no one have known about me, as far as singing, but now here I am. Well, after that COVID experience, I could care less if anybody knew my name. I could care less. All I wanted was, number one, to be able to breathe. And so and I wanted the world to know, not about me, but to know that anything that they're going through and have been through, it's going to work out for their good. So God allowed, in that moment, he allowed that experience to change my whole outlook on life, my entire mindset. And what took us 4 months and 5 months to not be able to get off the ground, after I got over COVID, I went back in August. And that's when everything was recorded in a matter of 2 hours. What we couldn't do in 5 months, we did in 2 hours, because my whole purpose had changed.
Now, we're going to get into the song in a minute, but I want to kind of freeze you here because unfortunately, when you hear about these numbers climbing and more people are going to get COVID, and until we get a vaccine, that's the reality. But I wanted you to give people a little bit of inspiration, because I know at one point you probably, even being a man of faith, you're probably like, is the curtain going to close on me, Lord? I'm not, like you said, I'm not ready to leave. I'm not. And I've heard people who've actually survived COVID say a lot of it is mental. Like, that thing tries to take you out. And if you allow it to take you out, it will take you out. I mean, I know it is physical, but a lot of what you said, I'm listening to your story and I'm thinking, like, as you're in the hospital, you're battling, but that mind is like serious. And how you said you snapped out. What advice would you give people who may get COVID? Because, reality is we're going to have more people who get COVID. But while they're in that same situation, again, don't take this wrong, anyone. It affects everyone differently. Some people can walk around the house with it. I mean, some people, it's like a mild cold. But now you have some people who are actually on ventilators. So it depends on how this virus affects you. But what advice would you give to people that are in the hospitals right now who are thinking, I'm going to die?
You have to, and I say this all the time, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I know it sounds cliche-ish, but it is real. Once the advice I would give, you have to get up from there. You have to walk around, you have to move around, because what happens is COVID starts shedding things out. So you have to move. It hurts, but you have to force yourself to move, to be active, to, you have to force yourself. So the advice I would give to people, no matter how it feels, continue to speak words of faith and continue to remind yourself, I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to make it through this. I'm not.
Said that. Chris Kumo said that too. When he was going through it, he said at one point he could feel himself deteriorating.
Oh yeah.
And he said, yeah, he was like, I got to get up and fight. And he was like, that thing, swung back. And he's like, I got to get up and fight. And he's like, the more he moved, it hurt, like you said, but the more he moved, and then after a while, he started feeling better and better. So I'm thinking, like, the survivors need to tell us, like, I don't want to get it, but I'm thinking in my head, well, hell, if I ever got it, I'm going to be like, Ernest said fight. Ernest said fight. Gotta keep.
Because here's the thing now. Here's you don't feel you don't feel like getting up. Your bones are aching. You don't feel like getting up. It's difficult, to breathe freely. Your feet, every bone in your body hurts. So you don't feel like getting out of the bed, but you have to get out of the bed. You have to get out of bed. You have to move around. You have to go for a walk. You have to stay active. And, that's just, it's just part of the fight. And you have to continue to remind yourself, I'm going to make it through this. And you support system. If it wasn't for my mom and my wife, I don't know. You have to have a support system that's going to help remind you, keep fighting, push, you got this. That's very important as well.
That's one of the worst things about this disease is the loneliest disease, because you can't really, if you're quarantined from your family, the only people you really have is the staff in the hospital.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you have FaceTime.
But at home, my wife cared for me at home, and she never caught it. She didn't catch it. All 6 of my children were here. My son caught it. My 16-year-old, he caught it. So he stayed in his room. I stayed in my room. He shook it off in 2 days. But no one else in my house caught it. So my wife was able to care for me. She had a mask on. I had a mask on while I was in the room. And so those who are in the house with someone that catch COVID, please don't just leave them by themselves. Allow them to isolate, but still care for them, because they're going to need your encouragement, and they're going to need, you to be able to care for them without, thinking that you're automatically going to catch it. If they have on a mask, you have on a mask. We kept the windows up in the room so, fresh air could come in and out. So please care for your family.
You got that fire, you got out the hospital, you got renewed, and now we have the single. So you finally recorded it. You said, well, it took you months, took you a couple of hours, right? Days or whatever.
2 hours. We redid the music, everything, the vocals, everything. We scratched everything from the first one, because I had something to really, really sing about, because I had really been through something. Because I mean, like I said, I lost 5 family members in a matter of 2 weeks and a half, so I knew that I really had purpose. So I sang about it.
Here. So so now it's actually out. It's out. People can buy the single.
Yes.
And it's on all digital platforms. Am I correct?
Platforms, yes.
Okay. And tell everyone the title of it again, because the title is worthy to be praised. What's the title?
For His Glory.
Okay.
For His glory. And the song basically talks about everything that you've been through. And there, my favorite part is the verse number 2. It talks about, I must admit, even now. And even now meaning, hey, after being saved, after have cried, after having fasted, after having, even now, me, after the titles, after everything else, I'm still going through some things. But in spite of, God is still going to get the glory.
We're going to go through some things. And I think that's what is just life, right? No matter.
It is life. Is in the song, I say, listen, in spite of the divorce, in spite of betrayal, in spite of rejection, in the middle of sickness, no matter what you're going through, it's all going to work for God's glory, according to Romans 8:28. And Kitty, I'm excited because on Thanksgiving, the video, as a matter of fact, Kitty, because I love you so much, I'm going to give you a sneak peek. I'm actually giving you a sneak peek.
So you're going to do it. So basically, wait a minute. So, but the world premiere. World premiere is Thanksgiving. Okay, that was strategic. So what made you come up with that date? Just want to know.
You know what? Thanksgiving. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to be alive. And listen, the scenes in the video, it deals with divorce, it deals with betrayal, it deals with a young man who was in prison, and I mean it deals
real
with
life.
So much
real life.
Yes, it deals with everything concerning today, even hospital. It deals with it all. And just in those 3 minutes and about 50 seconds, it deals with everything.
So you're right at the end of the year. So 2021, we're going to get into the single because we want to hear it. But 2021, what does the world have for Ernest? What are your, because I mean, you got a lot on your plate now, but what are your goals in 2021?
In the studio now, working on an EP. It'll be a 4-song EP.
Okay.
I'm working on now that and a couple other music videos as well. The world.
So
a lot of
music. You choose ATL to record. That's where is that your recording spot? Atlanta?
Yeah, that's my recording spot because my musicians are out of Baltimore. And that's where I like to record at. Even my video, I shot my video in Atlanta. It's just
Okay, it sounds like somebody likes the little ATL a little bit. It's like
you know what, I think I just like to get away, so it's an excuse to
okay.
get
Oh,
away.
okay. Okay. Well, hopefully you can meet, Mr. Tyler Perry and get on one of his
Right.
movies,
Nah,
you
that'd
know,
be awesome.
on the soundtrack. Because he always does something with some gospel in it,
I know,
right?
I know.
Gotta drop that by the Perry studio now. Come on now.
Right.
He up there, you gotta see, can't be slipping, right?
That's right.
So the release is going to happen next Thursday, a week from today.
Yes.
Do you have a time frame when you're dropping it?
Nope. 12 o'clock at night on the 26th. It will hit. That's why I would love for people to subscribe to my YouTube, which is Gonder Music. I'm Gonder Music on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Gonder Music. And if they just subscribe to my YouTube, they'll get the alert when it drops at 12 a.m. on the 26th.
Well, also too, if you can give me like your information for booking and everything, if we have it all right left from the last time, I'll just put it on here because I know, again, we talked about earlier, you're still open to doing events, right? Once
Yes.
it opens back up, weddings and funerals and events and
Yes.
okay. Just want to make sure because we got to get you some coins now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 2020 was a big a big bad thing for artists. We couldn't perform, we couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Everything was virtual. So I'm just praying 2021 treats us a little bit better. The ones that want to perform at events, the ones that want to do things, because the world needs to hear that voice. So the good thing is it doesn't stop it because we have you on digital. Digital is everywhere. So Apple Music, you got Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon, the list goes on. And they can go and get that tonight. Literally.
Yeah. Literally tonight. Just put in Ernest Gonder or put in for his glory. Kitty, hopefully 2021, me and you take the stage together.
Hey, that'd be wonderful. Listen, I don't know when it's coming. I'm a Grammy's coming. I have, it's so funny because I have a love song. I love songs. Oh my God, because timeless music is my thing, and I believe just like when you sung "A Change Is Gonna Come," I don't have the actual date, so I won't throw that out. But I can tell you that song is very old, but it's still valid to this day. That's when you know that your lyrics are timeless, right? 20, 30 years from now. And I think For Your Glory is going to be exactly the same. So you let me know when you are ready to debut your single live. So he can sing because he don't even have to have that T-Pain effect on that voice. That voice is anointed all by itself. I tell people, listen, when you can sing live and raw and uncut, you already know the studio version is just amazing. Because I know what they can do in the studio, but you can sing without all that stuff. So.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Many times I didn't understand. Now I know that it's part of your plan. Was feeling forsaken, waiting on the storm to pass. The feeling was overwhelming. Many nights I cried, Lord, please help me. Looking over my life, now I see, everything I've ever been through, it was working for my good. It was for His glory and my testimony. Everything I've ever been through, it was working for my good. It was for His glory and my testimony. Ooh. It was for my testimony. Oh, everything I it was working, yeah, yes it was. And my testimony, everything. Oh, it was for His glory and my testimony to disappointment and pain. When I almost lost everything, when those who said they loved me walked away. Oh, for your glory, Lord, I must admit, even now, I'm going through some things, but God's gonna get the glory, you say. I gotta be honest, I'm going through some things, but God's gonna get, I must admit, even now, I'm going through, but God's gonna get. Don't worry what it looks like, in spite of how you feel, regardless of your situation, the glory He's gonna get. Yeah. In spite of the divorce, through betrayal, regardless of rejection, in the middle of sickness, no matter what you're going through, it's gonna work for your good. Everything that you've been through, it is working for your good. Maybe you're listening with tears rolling down your face, but I'm telling you that it's working for your good. I just believe some way, somehow, it's gonna work out for your good. Hallelujah. God's gonna get the glory.
Yes, He is. God is.
He's gonna get the
got
glory.
the glory. Yes, I love it. I love it. And I saw the little snippet of the video, so I cannot wait to see the video, and it's going to be just amazing. So I want to make sure that I get your autograph, like I said, before you start with your Stella Awards and everything. And we got to get you some, some radio play too. So yeah, got to get you get it. Yeah, give you some radio stuff. We'll talk about that offline. But
Yes.
yeah, I know a couple people, especially in the gospel. Got to get you some. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So that's going to be on the 26th, a week from today. So please follow me on Instagram, Gonder Music, Facebook, Gonder Music, Twitter, Gonder Music, and make sure you go to my my YouTube page tonight, Gonder Music. Like
and I tell people, it's only, what is your single with 99 cents?
99 cents.
I mean, come on now. We people. Come on, people. 99 pennies. That's all it takes. A bunch of us. 99 pennies. We got to do it. We got to support. I'm going to go in there and download it tonight. I'm going to go ahead and it's on Amazon. So I'm going to go ahead and support you. Like I tell people, $1. What's $1? $1 is nothing. We could do $1. We could do $1. But that's how you get your credit. That's how you get your royalty. That's how you get the billboard. We want to make sure that you get on all of that stuff. So, I'm just happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you found that you got your wings back. Because I always knew that you would, be great, but I'm glad you found it. And Now that you found it, never lose it. And we're gonna get that EP done, right? You're gonna get that EP done. That's the goal, right? All right. All right. So if you want to reach him again, once the video ends, I'm gonna make sure that I plug in all of his stuff and get all the information for booking, your website information, your Instagram information, so we can start following you. So when we see you next year on the big screens, I'm gonna say, oh, I had him on the People of Power. You know, I like to brag on my people when they do great things.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So we will see each other later. Tell the family I said hello. And you know, I tell people all the time, I know it's a lot going on tonight, so we will definitely get our views up tonight. But guess what? You know, one thing about I've learned in this business, you can't worry about what other people are doing. You have to just do what God told you to do and your assignment, and just filter everything else out. Because I know sometimes we get so caught up. I tell people all the time, we get so caught up in views and how many people are watching, but it's not how many people watching, it's who's watching, because who is watching is who gets you to the other level. So that's all I got to say about that. Any final words? I need you to leave everybody with a superpower. I know that usually on the People of Power show, since you are a lifetime member now, can you leave people with a superpower? I call a superpower is something that you feel that people need right now, that if you could give it away, what would it be?
It would, well, before I say this, I just want to say thank you. Again, you're amazing. You are awesome. Thank you so very much for having me and connecting with me. I love you. And
you welcome. Love you back.
All the years, I mean, we go way back. Thank you for everything you're doing. If you ever call on me, I'm there. I got you.
I know. Listen, as long as it's not a schedule conflict, I know you there. I know you got a lot going on.
Yes, you know what? If I was to say anything with people, it is just, you know, number one, faith without works is dead. From a biblical standpoint, I would say faith. You gotta have faith. You know, exercise your faith, push your faith. But anything else, I would say determination and discipline. Nothing happens, and nothing have happened in my life. Nothing that I've accomplished have happened. It didn't come easy. It came with great sacrifice and great discipline. And that's one of the first conversations I have with people. What are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to be disciplined to get to the place that, or to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? So if there was anything that I could give away that I didn't need anymore, it would definitely be sacrifice and discipline. Disciplining yourself, staying focused until you have saw that thing to a completion. That's what it would be.
Listen, that's great advice, because that's a key word. Seeing that thing to completion and consistency. Let's stay consistent. You know, we do it, we're going to do it, and we're going to keep doing it and keep doing it no matter what. And then at the end of the day, you'll see a final project like you. So I'm so happy for you. And again, we'll see each other soon. Yes, and I cannot wait for your premiere, and I will definitely share it with all my groups. We're looking for that thing on Thanksgiving night, right? Thanksgiving night. Yeah, Thanksgiving night. Okay. Thanksgiving night. While you full and you got the itis, you got to open your eyes.
don't tell nobody, but you're going to get it early because you're special. But only you. And you can just
we'll keep that between us. Yeah, after these thousands of people will see us later. We'll keep that between us. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will talk again.
All right. God bless.
Good night. I'm going to go download it now.
Okay, dear.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye.